you hear the music?
Oh.
Oh yeah, man. A lot of people can't hear it. Weird. All right, welcome back to another episode of On the Throne with Dick. And, as always, big shout out to Senjin Boychuk for making that incredible intro and outro song for us. And just, man, find that guy on Senjin Boychuk on all the platforms. He's posting a lot on YouTube right now. All right, and today's guest, the king, or is it the prince? It's the prince of porta potties, Johnny Tsunami. What's going on, buddy?
Nothing much, dude. Just out in beautiful California.
You're in beautiful SoCal. I think you're in SoCal, aren't you?
SoCal, Huntington Beach.
Oh, I've been to San Diego, Anaheim, Los Angeles, Hollywood, all that shit with the wife. It was a beautiful, beautiful place. And I left a little part of me behind, so as an excuse to come back, right? So, and I've yet to come back, but I will.
The part that gets left behind is your dignity and your soul, because LA's a place.
Oh, dude, I got robbed by Black SpiderMan in Hollywood.
Did you?
It was more or less like I kind of sort of knew what I was doing, but so I was wearing a Toronto Maple Leaf shirt, and he's like, "Toronto, man, my brother's from Toronto," and I was all like, "Oh, that's cool, man." He's like, "Yeah, buy his CD, right?" And then I'm like, okay. He's like, $10. And before you knew it, I was just like so shook, and I was handing him $10. And I'm like, "Where are you from?" He's like, "Compton." And I'm like, "Straight out of Compton, love that movie." He's like, "Yeah, buy my CD too." And then he's like, $10. So I just ended up giving him 20, and nothing was on the CDs. They were both blank.
Yeah, they do that to give people, because it's like you're not walking around with a CD player, so you can't really, see anything until you get to your car, and there's not going to be anything on it. Most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those guys would be fucked if this was the early 2000s. Just pop out my CD Walkman, like,
right
what
away.
now, right? Like, that happened to me in New York City too, man. I was there in 2006, maybe 2007. Yeah. And buddy was selling, like, those guys that sell shit out of their coats. Like, I got watches, I got this shit, that shit. And he was selling DVDs or Blu-rays. Yeah. Blu-rays were all the rage. And I bought Chicken Little for my little sister, and it was like $5 a piece. I think I bought 4 or 5 of them. Same thing. A couple of them worked, but they were like camcorder copies. Like, they were shaky.
Oh yeah, those are bad.
Yeah. It was, man. Up.
I think, as well as it may seem, like to see, I'm sure there's like really cool places there, and it is a place I would want to visit. But it's one of those things like LA, like people that have never been here, a lot of influencers kind of piss me off, because it's like, you guys are making it seem a lot more beautiful than it is. Like, when you get a postcard, or when you get these, videos of people at whatever bar, or, scenery, whatever it may be, some tourist spot, you go immediately across the street, or even just around whatever spot that you're in, there's homeless everywhere. There's tweakers everywhere. There's, it's crime ridden. It's I can't stand the place, like I like staying by the beach. We do get our tweakers and homeless people, but it's not that bad. But San Diego is one of those places. It's just the big liberal cities, and San Diego, San Francisco, LA, I can't stand them all. It's bad. From someone who lives out here, that's more on the conservative side, you see more of, what's
I'm gonna say San Diego was probably like one of my favorite places we've ever been.
Yeah.
And like, coming from strictly tourism, right? Like La Jolla Cove, and you got all the Top Gun tourist spots, like the bar, Viper's house, you got all that shit, right? And man, like, what a spot.
Yeah, it's nice out there, and how you're just saying, it's a good tour spot. Like La Jolla is nice. And there's just plenty of stuff out there to do, and it does get very pretty. I would rather go out to San Diego than LA. Um, but my preference wise, I don't like big cities. Like if I go to visit somewhere, I'll do tourist stuff, but like being raised in Hawaii, um, if I ever go back to visit, I never stay in the city. Um, I just I was just out there in last July, last year, and I was forced to stay in the city just because that's where my dad booked stuff. But when I go by myself, I'm staying in the country. I'm staying along the coast. I'm staying away from any type of city. So preference wise, it's like, yeah, I try to stay away from any type of city when I go to visit anywhere. I'm there for scenery and not
Yeah, yeah.
people. I don't like people.
Yeah, hey man, like I'm kind of the opposite, like I love the concrete jungle. I want to be there. I want to see everything, and I love, when I was when we were in LA, one of my bucket list items was to get caught in LA traffic. That was
Really?
like up there, man, and I did. I did. Oh, dude. Well, how far is it from LA to San Diego?
Um, I a little bit over 100 miles probably,
Yeah.
but
So how long would that take you to drive?
yeah, just depends on the time of day. But
Yeah.
anywhere in LA from I'd say 5 a.m. and it could go all the way till I don't know 10 p.m. Anywhere in LA is fucked.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Well, you got lots of people. How many people live in LA?
last time I checked, I know that California has, and this was a statistic from years ago. Last time I checked, 33 million or 34 million in California alone. And then
Damn.
in LA County alone, it's like 18 million. Yeah.
Wow. You guys
Everyone.
got like that one little area of like 33 million almost has as much people in it as Canada.
Yeah. See, that's insane. That's why LA, and I'm pretty sure it's the same like New York, but it's obviously not as many people. Um, Everyone's stacked up on each other. There's
Yeah. Yeah.
properties, there's like you can't really go anywhere else. You can't really build anywhere out there. You can up. So there's a lot more sky rises now. There's more. If you do get a house out there, like building a new house is going to cost millions just because you don't have much land out there.
Yeah.
It's expensive. And, no, I think that's fine that you want to get stuck in that traffic. I got to deal with that shit every day. I got to go back to LA tomorrow.
I'm from Toronto area originally, so like traffic out there is pretty nuts. So we think into Miami traffic, for an area that's not really that populated as you would think, traffic is crazy. So I just wanted to see, and it took us like 2.5, 3 hours to get back to where we needed to go. It was insane.
Yeah. And
It was crazy.
how long or how far would you have to go though? Like how
Oh,
there?
I don't know. It was LA to San Diego. So, it was pretty much double the time it would take to get back there originally. So I can't remember. That was like, oof, man, that was shit, 2015.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we didn't have kids yet, man. We're getting old.
Oh yeah. How old are you?
I'm 34.
Oh, okay.
How old are you?
I turned 32 on Friday.
Oh shit, dude! I thought you were older than that. Look at you, man.
Dude,
It's the arms. It's the
yeah.
arms, dude.
Well, it's
The
that
arms.
I tell people all the time we have a joke or little game with my foreman, and he teaches me about my age because my foreman is, I think he's the same age or 1 year younger than me. And when I grow out my beard, especially, he says I look shot out. So I've done years of meth. I've had, I was an alcoholic for a long time. I'm also out in the sun a lot, like during the winter, I'm not this dark.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we have
Same.
we have this game. Yeah, we have this game where we meet up with a new inspector or a new crew of third party or whoever it may be, and then we'll get close to them and kind of chill with them, and then we'll just eventually like, hey, how old do you think I am? Just out of the blue, and like, what? And it's like, how old do you think I am? I've gone that I think the oldest I've gone was 42 when I had a beard, and that
Wow.
it hurt me.
You no longer get ID'd, right?
No, I don't think I've been ID'd shoot for a couple of years. It's it's
Now,
it's in the
so
eyes. I'm fucking tired.
did you take the sleeves off that shirt?
Oh yeah.
I think we have the same shirt. Just like
Oh, it's the same shirt. Yeah.
did you take them off yourself, or did
Yeah.
your arms just bust through?
No, I cut them off because I don't know what size this
Like,
is, but the
it's my turn. Look at
yeah,
that. Look at that. Oh yeah. Oh man, I'm doing it too. Look at that. Like, oh, my arm, the sleeves are gone. I didn't roll them up. If you guys are watching on YouTube, I didn't roll them up. It's an illusion. The arms bust through.
Yeah, that's literally why I took them off, because this is an XL. I wear 2XL now, and
Oh shit.
with their long sleeve, this was a long sleeve shirt, so not the short sleeve, and the long sleeve for XO was too tight. So I'm like, all right, this is dumb, because anytime I lift up my arms, stomach would show, and that's why I do 2X now. Just it's like wearing a little dress, but then the arms are just too tight on me.
Yeah.
I
So
got a
so
custom.
like so like you were saying like you were in like in a meth and alcohol, and you were just an array of addictions, eh?
Yeah.
Like what? So like what's the story there? Like how? Like what did you do before that, and then what led you to that, and then like how did you get out of it?
So when you're saying earlier about how you visited Anaheim, I'm from Anaheim, born and raised Anaheim. So I was born and raised there around, I'd say, 12 years old. I was in junior high, or whenever 12 years old was. Um, I was in junior high, and I was introduced just mainly to drinking. That's when I tried drinking for the first time. My brother, he's 2 years older than me, but at the same time, we're at the same high school. I believe he got held back. So when he was in eighth grade, he was in eighth grade the second time, and then I was in seventh grade. He was going through changes, and he went through the whole Nirvana, just grungy phase, you know? And with that, he idolized those grungy type music people. For the longest time, he wanted to have the 27 curse. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, like Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse,
Jimmy,
all them. Yeah,
Janis, yeah.
yeah,
So he listened to all those bands, Jim Morrison, from the Doors. So he lived up to wanting that curse, and he got deep into heroin. He was a junkie for years and years and years. He's not clean now. I think he just smokes weed and drinks now, but he was all messed up. But anyways, my junior high was in a kind of crappy area of town. Um, like if you go out to the park that's right next door, there's just a bunch of gangsters, and it's not like the best neighborhood. So we would pick up coke, and eventually, throughout like the year of me trying coke, it wouldn't be like an every weekend thing. It'd be like once a month, because we're in junior high, we don't have money. So it'd be saving up lunch money and then trying to buy some stuff. Uh, but after about a year, when I was in eighth grade, um, I was starting to pick up this. It was obviously meth, but it started getting cheaper. It went from $40 to $30 to $20 to 15. I'm like, all right, well, this is cool. It burns, but I like this stuff better. So I kept going back to the same guy that switched his shit up, and kind of got introduced into meth that way. So I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew it was a change in high, and I liked it. And I was like, all right, I'm about being an upper. I didn't like eventually I tried heroin. I've tried, different types of pills that put me down, painkillers and stuff. And I hate that. Like I like being up and, just wired, which is part of the reason why like a lot of my videos, I chucking bangs and rains and energy drinks. Like
Yeah, yeah.
part of my thing, it's not just to stay awake. It's like I used to be a tweaker. So it takes a lot for me to wake up. But yeah, I got into speed. Um, did that, you know, on and off for a little bit, and then around 15 or 16, I started smoking it, and I went to juvie for burglary, residential burglary, and home invasion. So I was just robbing people, and I didn't have any care for anyone's stuff. I didn't like obviously my point of view changes, like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
nowadays I do like I hate thieves, I hate tweakers because I used to be one. I had no heart. I was cold blooded. Like I didn't have a care for anyone's personal stuff. Like if you worked hard for something, I'm gonna take it. I would pawn shit off. I remember my mom was going through an affair, and she wanted being with this other guy, got divorced or whatever, and she moved like down the street from us, and this was at like the peak of me smoking meth. And I remember taking all her jewelry and pawning it, and I made what maybe like 20 grand, and I spent that all on meth. And
Wow.
yeah, dude, it was bad. And then uh, I was on probation at the time, and I think she called the cops on me, and I went back to jail for a little bit. So it's like I've been in and out of jail. Never been a rehab, never had an intervention or anything like that because they didn't know. They knew I was doing drugs, but they didn't know to what extent, and they didn't know what kind. So they just thought maybe I was a cokehead or something like that, or messed around with whatever. But I was taking like in high school and a little bit after, I was a full blown drug addict. So I would take everything, and then the last maybe 4 or 5 years of my addiction, it was strictly meth, coke, and just drinking, like heavy drinking. Like I could go through a fifth in like 15 minutes. I could chug through that and then be okay, do a few bumps, smoke a bowl, and then, be wired for the next 3 4 days. So I did that um for 12 years. And then I did like the last 3 years, not including my sobriety. So before my sobriety, the last 3 years before my sobriety, it was just heavy drinking and then coke. So I've been off meth since 2015, I think, and then um, I got sober for like a few months, and then I would go back to drinking, doing coke, and then yeah, just the last few years, it was like downhill. Like I've never spent more money in my life, and then 2019 is when I got in a pipeline. So I finally had union money. Like I was getting good hours, overtime, tie-ins. I didn't have any debt at the time. I was engaged at the time too, and I was just blowing through all that money. Like I'd spend stuff on my fiance at the time. Um, I'd be buying her drugs, her alcohol, my drugs and my alcohol, but I would go off the deep end like every other weekend, and yeah, it just turned out to be shit, and I just couldn't take it anymore. But um, what helped me stop, what helped me stop with meth is uh, in Hawaii. I was clean for like, I don't know, 6 months or like 3 months. So about 90 days, I was clean off meth. I still drank a little bit, and I wanted to pick up coke. And one of my buddies out there, who's now clean, he wound up relapsing on meth, and said, "Hey, I don't have coke, but I have some speed." I was like, "Uh, I mean, screw it. I'll just do it. I should be fine." So I wound up doing it, and then I stayed up for, I think, 4 days straight. I lost.
Oof.
Yeah, it's after, honestly, after day two, or I mean, I don't know if you've pulled any 24-hour shifts, but
Yep. Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah. So after the first 24 hours, it's like, you're kind of spaced a little bit. You're a little bit slower to reactions or whatever. By
Yep.
day two, like people say by day three, like it's full paranoia. For me, it's day two. Day two, I'm just like, okay, this is the second day I've been up, second night I've been up. Like, I'm going crazy. So by day four, I was completely lost my mind. I was talking to myself. I was mumbling. I was walking up and down the streets of Hawaii. Like, it was messed up. And my come down was bad. And I remember, even before I relapsed, I told myself if I did it again, I was either going to wind up in jail or dead. So I got that in my head. And during that time, I was testing my faith with God. And I was like, dude, I don't think I could do this. So I'm out there. I have a big testimony video on my TikTok too somewhere. But I want to hanging myself, like in my girlfriend at the time's bedroom. And she wasn't there. She was away for work, and she was doing some shit. And yeah, I was like, dude, I can't take this anymore. And the come down was way too real for me. I just didn't want to be alive and want doing that. And that's also what got me saved. But then after I got saved is still, I had my faith now. I believed in God, and I heard his voice, and he's what woke me up from the floor. Like, the news was fine, but then up top it wasn't tied right, but I was still knocked out unconscious for like, what, 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours.
Wow.
So I was out, and I had, you know, um, what's the word? I had like bruising and like
Yeah.
cuts around my neck because it was a pretty thick rope. Like, I wanted it to do the job. So, um, yeah, it was that was a wild ride for me. And yeah, still after that, I think working in construction and making the money I make, like, I felt a sense of power. So I'm like, oh, cool, I'm making this much. I'm making more than, you know, my other high school classmates that are, in school now. Like, okay, you're wasting your life in college. I've already made twice as much as you've made. And I've abused that to the point of, if I saw them like at the bar, I'd be buying their drinks. I'd be buying this and that. And um,
Just to prove that you can, right?
yeah, to prove that I can, to prove
Yeah.
I have money. Like, it was stupid spending, and I wound up putting myself in a debt from buying stupid shit. And it's just dumb. But yeah, I've um sober now, for uh 19 or 20 months. I need to
Oh,
check again. I think it's but
that's not, man, that's not that long, but like, like 1920, that means like recently, very recently, you've gotten like, your shit together, right? Like that's
yeah.
pretty good. And when I say that's not that long, I'm not like, hey, oh, I'm not trying to void your journey, right? I'm just saying like, hey, it wasn't not all that long ago that, you hit rock bottom, and it's time to, start coming up.
Oh yeah, it was November 1st, 2021 is the first day I was actually coming down, but it was the first day of me like, okay, like, I need to chill the fuck out, like, I couldn't do anymore because a couple of months leading up to that, my drinking, I was drinking a handle, so not a not a fifth, but yeah, I was drinking a handle of vodka maybe every other day, and then I was picking up an 8 ball once a day from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so my weekends would cost about $1,000, just in drinking and coke. And um, besides my personal life and what was going on in it, like I was living a double relationship. I was back with my ex fiance, and then I was also playing my girlfriend at the time that I was on and off with. So I was living both lives, and they both found out, and then I took it.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah, it was bad. It was stupid on my part, and it I'm not like that, and I've never been a cheater, and it just drinking and drugs. It's like, oh mate, like my stupid brain. I'm just like, oh, I can get away with this, but I just couldn't let things go. It's very toxic. But with besides my personal stuff and besides that stuff happening, my physical, like I'd be shitting blood, I'd be puking blood, like not obviously full blown blood, but there'd always be blood in my shit and vomit. And I had the start of um what's the name? Uh it starts with a J. It's when you turn yellow.
Oh, jaundice.
Yeah, I had the beginning stages of jaundice. Every day I'd have the shakes really bad. My eyes were starting to turn yellow. If I lifted up my shirt, like on my back, you can see bruising, like where my kidneys were and stuff. It was bad. So I was like physically dying, besides mentally dying, and that was a different rock bottom because the rock bottom I had before, when I tried to take my life, it was more of a I just lost everything. And
Yeah.
then the most recent rock bottom was I'm dying. I can't do this anymore. Like
How long ago was that one?
that was uh October 2021. And
Okay, okay.
I didn't even think I was going to stay sober. It wasn't a plan. I think after the first week, I just say November 1st because my last drink and my last use was on Halloween night, and it was a Sunday, and then I had to work Monday, and I think I actually called out. And yeah, I went through that week. I went through that weekend uh into the next weekend. I was just like, okay, I don't have any craving to do anything, but I need to change my life around, and I didn't really have a plan to go sober. I was kind of just living Larry one day at a time type thing. And after the first month, I'm like, oh shit, I've made it a month. Like that went by kind of fast. I could do this. And so I just started going to meetings, and my dad is actually a pastor at
Oh,
like the church I go to every Sunday. He's a pastor there. They have their senior pastor, and he does Celebrate Recovery, which is like the church's version of AA and NA. So you don't tell war stories. Like you don't say, "Oh, I was in this motel getting this cracked out and doing this and that." It's more of, "This is how I'm doing today. This is my mental health. This is, what's going on this week and what's going on in my life. I'm in my group. um how can you guys help? How can I help you?" It's about bringing each other up, and obviously having um the foundation of God in those groups. It's a Christian based meeting. But um what was I saying? Yeah, I was going there the second month of my sobriety, and I started collecting my chips, and thought they're just small plastic chips that just say each month on them, and I got stoked from. So I'm like, dude, I'm collecting them all.
hell
So,
yeah. Are you
but
still collecting them? Like you still?
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So after a year, um, yeah, after a year, it goes to 18 months, and then it goes to 2 years, and then it's every year you get a chip. But the first year you get one every month. So I just got my 18 months. Yeah, last month I believe, and then
Congratulations, man. That's huge.
yeah, it's pretty huge for me, and we even celebrated my birthday, which is November 1st. So last year I had my 1 year, went out to dinner with some friends and celebrated and had some mocktails and stuff.
When you were going through addiction, like, were you as jacked as you are now, or did that kind of sort of come afterwards? Like, did
Oh,
you kind of use the what's
absolutely
that?
not.
Yeah.
Like I was tweaker skinny for a long time, and then when I got off meth is when I started going to the gym. So I started working out in Hawaii when I was out there, and then um I think I was the most fit out there because I stuck to seafood a lot. I almost ate fish every day, so it's like fish is lean. Every day after work, I'd be going to the beach, so body surfing, regular surfing, boogie boarding, whatever, just regular.
Fucking Californians, man.
Yeah, but well, that was in Hawaii, but
Oh,
in Hawaii, I'd be eating fish every day, super lean. I'd work out, and then every day after working on the weekends, I'd just be in the ocean. So it's just all cardio. So I was the most lean out there, and then I had some muscle, and then I got super into it when I got into construction because I knew I had to have some type of physical strength, like just to do anything. Like I've been a laborer for almost 5 years now, and then the jobs I've had before weren't so labor intensive. There was lifting, but it's just I felt like I needed to be physically fit for that. And yeah, I haven't always been this big. My body has fluctuated for the last 15 years. Like I've been pretty fat before. I think the heaviest I weighed was 240, but no muscle on me. It was all gut. Felt like crap. Uh, and then I've gone stick skinny before, and now I'm just a solid like what 225 right now.
well, this is where you feel the best. Like, you know what I mean? This is where you found that sweet spot, eh?
Oh yeah, yeah, I feel
That's
great.
awesome, man.
I mean, there's
That's
obviously
awesome.
stuff I don't like about myself now. Like I don't have a fucking six pack or nothing like that, but I there's always improvement, but I've never been happier. My
I
mental
love
health.
I love your videos, man. I just want to say that, dude. Like, where does the name Tsunami come from? Johnny Tsunami.
Uh, Did you ever watch Disney Channel?
Yeah, yeah.
So the movie Johnny Tsunami, um, there's a movie called that. Have you seen that?
I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
It's a super. I mean, as a kid watching it, we're just like, oh, this is cool. But I've watched it, I think 2 years ago or something like that, and I was like, wow, this movie's really lame. But I've had the name for a few years now, and uh, for those of you that don't know, my actual name's Josh.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
uh,
I know that. I know your name's Josh, and that's what I was like. Where did Johnny come from?
yeah, it's from Johnny Tsunami the movie on Disney Channel, and it was about a kid from Hawaii, and then he moves to Colorado, I believe, and he becomes a snowboarder and this and that. So he was a surfer kid, and I grew up the same way. You know, being raised in California and also having family in Hawaii, Hawaii is literally my second home, like, um, so I grew up surfing. I grew up in the ocean, and then just, I think it was 2 months after my sobriety, um, it was part of my sobriety. Like, dude, I need to start living. Like, I need to start doing stuff. And the only places I would go be a tourist at, it was just a reason to go drink at a different city,
Yeah.
So I wound up teaching myself how to snowboard, and I was like, okay, now I'm really living up to my name, like where I grew up surfing. I grew up in Hawaii, and then now I'm I snowboard now. So I'm kind of just trying to live up to the name and not just be some random pick. Yeah.
I love that, man. Dude, you're like I was saying, man, like your content is fire. Like
Oh, yeah.
you can tell and you've talked about it a couple of times and you've talked about your addiction and whatnot a bit, but like you can tell even if you didn't talk about it, you could tell you've been through some shit, right? And dude, and I love that you talk about it. I love that, it's part of mental health, right? And it is
Yeah.
Men's Mental Health Awareness Month right now. So, it's part of mental health. And and I love that, it wasn't until the news broke that you really had your aha moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It, that was a big waking moment. Not just for mental health, but mainly my faith. Like if I didn't have my faith, honestly, in my opinion, I don't think I'd be shit to where I am today. Like I don't know how you are with spirituality. I don't follow religion. I follow my relationship with God, and that's all I need. Like when people say, I get it all the time, like especially on TikTok, like I get a lot of people saying, "Oh, that's not very Christian of you. That's not very Christian." It's like, "All right, well, fuck off." You don't know my relationship with God. God
Yeah.
saved my life, and I cried out to him and he saved me. What I'm, at the end of the day, I'm still human. The only perfect person, in my opinion, is God. So you have no right to judge. Only God can judge. So if you're out here judging me, saying I'm not Christian enough, or I'm not doing something Christian, I don't give a fuck. I try to be the best person. I try to be nice to people. Um, the media and shit that's going on in the world does twist my brain a lot to, I don't spread hate, but I have a lot of hatred towards a lot of things now in the world because it's so fucked up. So I try to find that balance of knowing what's wrong and then trying to be a Christian as well. You
Yeah.
know, Everyone thinks it's contradicting, but it's like, okay, well, personally,
It
I try.
works for you.
Yeah, it works for me, and I try to open people's eyes to what's going on as well, like with just conspiracy and stuff in the government, and then it's like I believe this way because it's happening, it's real, and the Christian side of me like will go through to the book of Revelation. It's like if you read this book in the Bible, Revelation, all the shit in that book is what's happening now. Like I think in the end of our days, like in what people think, like, oh, the end of the days means the apocalypse, or the world's gonna end, like it's gonna blow up or some shit like that. Not personally, like my take out of it is we're in the end of days, meaning that there's not gonna be a God anymore. Like everyone's like all the shit that's going on right now, especially with a lot of pride things or trannies and shit like that. A lot of it's surrounded uh, by evil and Satanism and just fucked up shit. Like it's a big controversial topic, but when people go into why do you talk so much shit on the alphabet people is what I like to call them, but why do I talk so much shit on them? It's like, dude, I don't care if you're gay or lesbian or whatever it may be, but it's the evil side of it because you are seeing and it's in politics too, like left or right side, it doesn't really matter. There's still some in it, more so towards the left side, which is the side that also supports the alphabet people. And then yeah, it's just there's more stories that you hear on that side of things of, oh, they're pedophiles and they have sex, child trafficking and child pornography and stuff like that. And that's one thing that will always remain the same in my head, is that is wrong, and you should, I think you should die from it. Like I have a God of vengeance, and like I don't believe in that at all. Like there's no way around that past. Like if you say, oh, I touched a kid, but it happened 10 years ago. It's like, okay, well, 10 years ago, it should have been dealt with, you
Yeah.
know, like it just a lot of evil in the world, and yeah, like, I'm sorry, I kind of go off like I have ADD.
Hey, you go off, man. I got ADD too, man. I go off on wild tangents all the time, dude. And that's why kind of TikTok sort of works for me,
Yeah.
And same with you, man, dude. Okay, so how did you get into TikTok and like where did that start? Like and why?
Do you know Burton Bastard?
Burton Bastard?
Yeah, or have you heard of him?
No, I haven't heard of him.
So there's a dude called or I don't know if it's the Burton Bastard, but yeah, it's my superintendent, and he made one, and he blew up, and he's at like 1.1 million followers now.
Damn, I'll have to give that guy a follow.
Yeah, yeah, check him out. I mean, his stuff is more mental health. In the beginning, it was more construction. He found his niche or niche or whatever. But his thing now is just mental health and stuff like that. But he would always tell me, just from Instagram, like, oh, you should make a TikTok just because your content. I just always made stupid videos, like talking shit, me and LA traffic, stuff at work, like just random clips of the day, and people would love them. And I've been offered by many people, like my roommate being one of them too, like, oh, you should make one, like you have funny content. And it's kind of blown up because I've learned how to edit it a little bit better. I'm not one of those influencers that will buy a professional camera and like mics and the lights and stuff. I don't have time for that, so I just do what I can with my time. I don't take it as serious, but I did realize that, oh, like I actually have a following for this, and I just stick to what I know, which is just construction, and that's my niche. And um, even if I try to do anything opposite, like I've had a few videos blow up about mental health or addiction or working out. It just depends on what sound clip I
Yeah,
used, I guess. But
yeah,
I realized that my main following is blue collar. It's all construction dudes, and
same. That's how I found you.
yeah, and yeah, and see, even before TikTok, um, I don't think I followed you on Instagram for a while, but I would like Union Money and Troco and stuff like that. I would always see your face because you have like they'll post clips of random people and stuff like that, and some of it's funny, but they don't have a um what's the word for it, a specific look. You have a very specific look with your handlebars, and then you always have your coveralls on.
Yeah,
you know
and
I'm
my
like,
blue
oh,
glasses and the blue hard hat. Yeah,
yeah, so you stand out. So I'm like, okay, that's the face I can remember. So I always saw you. And when I started blowing up on TikTok, when you started following me, it was one of those like starstruck, like, oh shit, like I have like big people following me now. Like, and there's another dude. I'm so bad with names, but there's another guy from the South, and he always does those talking to the foreman thing, where he does a regular voice, and then um he does like a Snapchat filter and like changes his voice, and it's just conversations back and forth. But
I think I've seen that guy. I don't think I follow him, or maybe I do, but I think I've seen that guy.
yeah, so
I don't know his name.
I can't remember his name. I'm so bad with remembering people's names. Um, but he started following me as well. And then a few other people who've just been viral, like I started getting follows from them. I was like, oh shit, I'm actually doing all right with this thing, you know? And yeah, but when you started following me, I tripped out. I was like, dude, I see that guy's videos all the time. I thought it was comedy, you know? Like
I appreciate that, man. That's
yeah,
huge.
yeah, it was really cool because I don't follow. like I have 100,000 followers, but I don't look at each follower. You know, I really
Yeah.
don't pay attention. I don't
I
follow.
used to.
Yeah, I used to a lot too, but it's like it, especially when you hit those videos that um like will get a million plus views on them.
Yeah.
If they blow up to a million within that first day, it's like, okay, I'll check TikTok. Oh, cool, I just got 100 followers. Let me come back in 15 minutes and refresh it. Oh, cool, another 100. It's like I don't have
Yeah.
the see every single person, click every single person. It's like it's so time draining, you know.
Yeah.
So
I used to when I only had like 2,000 once a week. I'd spend a week like after I'd watch content for a little while. I'd create some content and then I'd go down the list and I
uh,
go check out every one of them that's following me. I go check out all their content,
yeah,
right? And then I like it. I'd like mass like it, right? I'd just be like, hey man, I'm just trying to support, right?
yeah,
So and then and then it got up to like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. I couldn't do it anymore. That's a lot of time. Plus working over 100 hours a week, I can't do that, right? So
yeah,
it's time consuming. But one thing that I have maintained over the course of like almost 3 years now is that I reply to every comment on all. Like if I see the comment,
uh-huh.
it might take me a little while to get back to them. Like some over on Facebook, it's hard to see the comments because it only show you the most recent. You got to
Yeah,
click all. So
yeah,
I'll click all, and then I'm like, oh shit, I missed a comment 2 weeks ago. Okay, so then I comment back, and I do the same thing over on Instagram. Like I try to comment back on every single comment that I get. Right, if
yeah.
it's trolly, depending on how trolly the comment is, I'll answer it, but sometimes it's like, eesh, that looks like it's a landmine. I'm gonna steer away from that one, right?
Yeah.
So,
There's a lot of trolls. Like I just did one recently about Lizzo, and
yeah, you did.
yeah, not a lot of
Yeah,
people.
you did.
You know, I got like the normal chicks are like, dude, he can have preferences, but why you got to put down Lizzo for? It's like, well, I mean, I get the whole body positivity thing, but it's in my opinion, it's like, okay, it's well, not even opinion, fact, it's not healthy. Like my mom's overweight, and I tell her all the time, like, hey, you need to get on track. You know, my dad, he was overweight for a little bit. He's already had a heart attack, and he's waiting for heart surgery. So it's like your health is gonna fail. You know, it's being overweight's not good. Like there's stuff to improve, and if you're happy with being that way, more power to you. Good for you. I'm just saying the negative sides of it, but yeah, with that whole video, it's like the people I called out is just the preferences. You know, like if you're judging someone by their height, I'm not saying I've gotten turned down for being short, but you're judging based off height, you're judging based off weight, you're judging based off appearance. And I went off on that, and I think every every comment in there was from people that were like that or with pronouns, or I was just getting bombarded with, you know, hate messages. And it's like I could respond, and that's why I tell people to follow me on Instagram, because I'll respond the way I want to on Instagram. On TikTok, if I see the word fuck, I'm banned. You
Yeah,
know, it's
yeah,
stupid. That and that's one thing I learned from TikTok. That
and Facebook too.
oh really?
Oh, I lost my monetization for a month because I responded to someone. What did they say to me? They said something to me, and I'm like, "Look at you being a salty little bitch."
Yeah,
Right? I called him a salty little bitch, and I got demonetized for a month. And
yeah,
like, hey man, was it worth it? I mean, kinda, yeah, but like at the same time, no. And
yeah.
I just was able to get actually today. I got my thing. I'm eligible for verification on Instagram and Facebook,
Oh
but I
yeah.
have to change my name from Dick to my real name to match my driver's license.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not going to do that. So it's not worth it. The blue check doesn't really mean much anymore, anyway. So
Now, yeah, like last year, kind of did when you could when you're like invited to get it, you know,
yes, yes,
like, oh, anybody can pay $15 now. And
It's 20.
oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I've seen a few friends that have that check mark, and then I'll go to their page, and it's like, oh, I only have 1,000 followers. Like, why do you have that check mark for? You
Yeah.
know, it.
Yeah.
I don't.
Twitter broke the verification process.
Yeah. So I don't go on Twitter. I have Facebook, but I don't think I've posted or used it in like 2 years, maybe. So
Yeah.
I have a bunch of old pictures on there, and then um, even Snapchat. I download Snapchat for a little bit, and then I open it once a week. But Instagram and TikTok is just where I make money and views and stuff like that. So those are the only two things I really use now.
I'm Canadian. We don't get paid on TikTok.
Oh, you don't?
No, we don't get paid for our TikToks.
No way. I didn't know that.
Yeah. We get the only way to make money on TikTok is merch and battling on live.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the only way.
How do you? Oh, because it's you get coins from the battling.
Yeah.
But oh, damn, so you don't get paid. Yeah,
No, we don't get paid for reviews. It sucks, but whatever.
yeah. I mean, it's not that much. Like,
Yeah.
you're eligible after 10,000 followers, and I thought it'd be a lot, but it's just based off your views. So if you make
Yeah.
10,000 views, you only get like a few cents. It's when you make your um your million view plus type things. It's like, I think the most I've gotten paid for one video is like $200.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Same on Facebook. I think the most I ever got paid for one video was 500. So like, I mean,
oh really?
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh, no way. Yeah, see, I
Yeah.
haven't gotten paid that much, but it's like, um, I'm sure I could have gotten paid on Instagram, but I'm kind of banned from um posting anything. Like, for 2 months, I can't even go live just
On
because.
Instagram.
Yeah, I couldn't go live on Instagram for 2 months, and then the monetization thing, I think I'm banned for that. I don't know. Yeah,
Whatever.
they don't want assholes getting money, so I was like, all right, I don't really care. I'm just here to get recognized, and yeah, I'm not here to be some type of goody goody. Like, I'm very honest. I'm brutally honest. I am an asshole, and through also bringing back to like addiction, and I've also gone through like you know, didn't have a traumatizing childhood, but I don't remember my childhood. There's a lot of things that have happened in my life periodically. Seeing things, especially going through drugs, drug addiction. I've been places where I should never be. I've seen things I shouldn't have ever seen, done things to people like I should be in jail for. Like, there's just, I have a lot of fucked up shit that I've seen and dealt with, and um, through that, it's all I've learned that it's a trauma response, but through that I use humor, like very, very dark humor. So even with, like, I have my only uncle on my dad's side. I only have one uncle. Uh, he's got cerebral palsy, and mentally he's there. Physically, he's not. Like, he can't speak. He's fucking,
That's
can't.
gotta be tough. Your brain's very aware, but you can't do shit about it.
Yeah, so he's normal, but it's just body functions. He
He's
drools.
trapped.
Yeah, he can't eat properly. He's super skinny. He's never been able to swim, obviously. But so he's got that. My grandpa on my mom's side, um, he's got dementia. So I have a lot of things. My grandma also on my dad's side, she passed away from cancer. I have jokes for all of them, and it doesn't offend me. It offends me, kind of, or it kind of pisses me off if you use that against me in a way of like, oh, I'm trying to hurt you. But it's like, if I can joke around about it and you can make like a dark humor joke, that's fine. But like, oh, your grandma deserved to die or something, like, okay, that would,
You don't say that shit to people.
yeah. But like, I could joke around about her death, like, because I've learned, I've learned that just dark humor kind of gets me through a lot of shit, you know? So it doesn't offend me. And I think that's also another thing I hate about TikTok is I can't get too dark, you know? You get
Well,
sent.
you can't because, well, there's a reason why you can't, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can really say why, but like, you know why you can't.
Yeah.
I know why you can't. Same reason why I can't get too dark,
Yeah.
right? And it's because we don't fit the demographic,
Yeah.
right? And we lean a certain way on the political spectrum where if we joke around with certain things, it's not okay.
Yeah.
But like if other people joke around about it, it's like, hey, you're cool. Your profile's safe, right? And I've noticed that. I've seen it. I try not to talk about it too much, but like it bothers me maybe just a tiny, tiny bit.
Yeah. I get, I mean, besides the way I look, besides certain tattoos I have and, you know, stuff I have scattered around my room, like, yeah, there's some things that, aren't appropriate, and, when I tag my location, like some of my videos, I'll just say Huntington Beach. Huntington Beach is known for, you know, being predominantly white and this and that. And when they see that tag, like, oh, it checks out, like, you're fucked up and you're racist and this and that. I was like, I mean, no, I'm not. But like, I just posted a video of me and my dad for Father's Day. Dude's Asian as hell. Like, like, yeah, everyone thinks I'm on this spectrum of, oh, I've been called white supremacist so much, it's like, I'm not, though. I'm literally the
Because
darkest
of the
person.
tattoos, right?
Yeah, certain
And the
tattoos.
bald head.
I do have certain tattoos. I have um a Confederate flag, but people don't care to ask. So with the Confederate flag, my grandparents, on my mom's side, my mom is blonde hair, blue eyes. My dad, Filipino as hell. Like, if you see the Father's Day post, you can see him in the video. Like,
I seen it.
yeah, he's Asian. He's Asian as
Yeah.
fuck. So there's him, and then my mom, blonde hair, blue eyes, and my grandparents are from Mississippi and Louisiana. In the Mississippi flag, there's the stars and bars. There's it's pretty much a knockoff of Confederate flag, but that is their state flag, and I follow it more for the heritage side. It has been adopted um, by white supremacists, but I don't follow that because it's like, dude, I do it for heritage. And if you got a problem with it, I don't really care. What are you going to do about it? Like most people, just because of the way I look, besides my height, I know how to handle myself pretty well.
How tall are you?
Only 5'7".
I'm 5'4", so
Oh, really?
yeah, two
Yeah,
short kings, but you're like 3 inches taller, so
yeah, and it doesn't bother me. My height doesn't bother me. I just know how to handle myself.
yeah,
So
same.
yeah,
People look at me as someone that they could take advantage of a little bit, and I don't think I have a chip on my shoulder for it, but when it comes to work, probably. Right,
yeah.
because I've had to work harder to get where I want and do what I want. Right, I could do everything a tall person can do. I have to get creative with it, and it's gonna maybe take a little longer, but I'm still gonna get her done.
Oh yeah. But there's also things like I used to work in refineries, and
Yes,
there would be taller guys, and this was when I was the same, build, but I was leaner. So I always got to go in the manholes, like in the towers and drums and stuff like that. There was taller, bigger dudes that couldn't fit. It's like, okay, well, I get that advantage. Like, I can crawl into a tiny asshole because I'm small, and I actually had a few coworkers that had at the time that were jealous because it's like some of them were like 300 pounds and then some were just too big, like too broad and stuff. It's like I've never been inside one and I just want to go inside and work inside one. And that's like my dream, working in the refinery. It's like, well, you know, first day I've ever worked in the refinery, I was in a manhole under fresh air. Like it's like, oh, this is cool. Like I'm putting in work out here, you know. But it has its advantages, disadvantages. I can't reach the top of my cabinets, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I got stools all around my house. I'm the tallest one in my house, so
how
yeah.
tall?
What's that?
How tall is your wife?
Oh, she might be 5'2".
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think my daughter, when she was born, because of our height, she's preemie and stuff like that. I think they predicted genetically that she would only grow to be maybe 5 feet, maybe 5 feet, like 4'12", 4'11", 5 feet.
But see, that could pass too, can it? Like, are your parents and her parents both short too, or
So yeah, my dad's a little taller than me, but the rest of my family's shorter. And as for her parents, so she's got African in her DNA. So
okay?
so a lot of her family members on her dad's side uh are a lot taller.
Yeah.
So like maybe she'll be making us soul food. You never know, right? Like should be standing over us, being like, "You want the jerk chicken, mom and dad, or what?" Like my wife makes a mean jerk chicken.
Really, I've never had it.
Oh yeah. Oh man. If you ever come to Alberta, Canada, dude, like
I,
you gotta message me. You're coming for dinner.
I wish I could. It'd probably be the next time you're a tour. I can't leave the country.
Oh shit. Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I can't leave the country due to
So with your job, like, do you travel a lot?
just in California.
Just
We
around Cali?
so we're underground construction company, UCCO, and um, we have branches up north, like Northern Cali, like the San Francisco area. We have one in Arizona, and then I don't know if there's more in other states, but we fall under a bigger company called Quanta, and Quanta owns multiple, like they have a lineman company, so they have different trades and stuff under this main thing. So what was my train of thought? I kind of gone brain dead for a second.
That happens a lot to me, man.
uh
Quanta, you don't travel around.
oh
They have a lot of different.
yeah, they have a lot
Yeah.
of different like third party companies, and so I mainly stay Southern California. Southern California is broad because it's people just think Southern California is just like LA, you
No.
know. I've been close to the border. I've gone as far as Needles, which is on the border of Arizona. And then the furthest up north I've been, maybe a little bit past Bakersfield, which is only about 3 hours north from me. So I don't go too far. It is far for me just because I hate driving and it's traffic too. But uh, the farthest I've ever had to drive is maybe 4 hours away from home, and I'll stay out
Oh
of.
shit.
Yeah, so I don't go any farther than that. I won't go out of state, but it's just all over Southern California, just because our main office is in Ontario, California, and that's just kind of our main hub, and then we're just all over the place, you know.
I'm from Ontario, Canada, so
Yeah, it confuses
yeah,
people. Like
yeah.
someone, I was on uh, live not too long ago, and I was working in Ontario, and people were just asking like, "Oh, where are you at today?" I was like, "Oh, I'm in Ontario." And some chick from Ontario, Canada, is like, "You're in Ontario? Like, where's it sunny?" I was like, Oh, we have in Ontario, California, in USA.
Yeah.
It's, you know.
Yeah. No, man, and that's just it, right? Like so do you get to be home a lot then? Are you home almost every night, or like it depends? Because I actually I've seen a lot of your videos where you are making them in hotel rooms. So
Yeah, it's hit or miss. It just depends on the job. So I could be on the job for a couple days. It just depends on what exactly is on the project. But I've been on jobs where I'll be out of town to where I stay in a hotel room for months at a time. And
yeah,
then like this new project, I'm starting a new project tomorrow, and that's in a place called Thousand Oaks, which is a little bit past LA. Um so I'm sure we'll be coming home every day. It's just going to be longer days because we got to drive there, be at work at a specific time, work 10 hours, and then drive through LA traffic, which can be anywhere from
yeah.
1 to 3 hours, depending on traffic. So,
I love that. Dude, I was in a little Volkswagen Beetle getting
mm,
stuck in LA traffic. The lady at TGI Fridays was just like, "Where y'all staying?" "Oh, yeah, we're in San Diego." She's like, "You better leave right now." And I'm like,
yeah,
"Nope, nope, I'm staying. Trust me. No, we're getting caught." Check that off the bucket list.
yeah. I don't know why that would not be a fucking bucket list thing for me to do, just because it's like I've been all over. Like I've lived in Seattle for 8 months,
Yeah.
lived all over California, lived in Hawaii, lived in Texas. So I've seen traffic. I visit obviously different states and stuff like that, but I think so far the worst traffic has been LA and Hawaii for sure.
Seattle's another one of my favorite towns, the Emerald City. Absolutely love Seattle.
Yeah,
We
see,
we did a giant road trip to Seattle a couple of years ago from here.
yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful. Like it's one of those things that's I love it and I hate it because it's political, very political out there. Um, and it leans more to like the towards the left liberal side. Um, and I remember going out there in 2020 when all the riots were going on and stuff like that, and the whole town is just graffitied with just BLM stuff all over the place, and it was trash. But I do like visiting new cities, just the architecture, random structure. I like doing touristy stuff like that outside of Seattle and stay alone is like it's beautiful. I like
Yep.
forest. Like I just don't like the weather. I only lasted like 6 to 8 months out there. You know,
Oh
I
shit.
yeah, I lost my mind. I couldn't do it out.
The furthest I've ever worked away from home, I think, is 17 hours. So I was up in the Northwest Territories,
Oh, okay.
and that's cold, right? But it was also summer, so like it was chilly. It was almost the end of summer, so like it was starting to get a little cold,
Yeah.
and that's really far north. And on average, I'm working 4 to 5 hours away from home.
Oh, okay. So
But
you stay,
we're moving here soon, so we're moving closer, like by a couple hours. So
but you so every week you stay in a hotel or no?
in the winter, I work in the oil field. I work in the oil and gas industry, and I work on a vac truck.
Okay.
And there I stay in a camp, a man camp. And I like it. I prefer camp over hotel. Your beds are made for you. Well, hotel same, but camp, your food is provided, right?
Yeah.
And I love that. And and you get your own room. When I'm in the summertime, I work on a road construction crew,
Yeah.
and so we travel all over the place. I'm not in one spot. And we stay in hotels, and so yeah, it's and we got to share a room. We got to but we get paid sub. I don't know if you
Yeah.
get sub like
Yeah.
LOA. What is your LOA or your sub out there? What do you get per day?
Out or with our company, just the labor, we get 80. I think operators and welders get more. Our foremans get more. Um, and it just depends on like our inspectors. Like our inspectors, like third party, will get like 200 to 300 a day. But right now
Wow.
80. So when I carpool, and a lot of our guys do, they have company trucks. So my guy, like I went kind of black on the screen very quick. I was texting one of my coworkers, and he lives 5 minutes from me, and we are on the same crew. So I drive 5 minutes away and carpool with him, and he likes to go home every day. So we'll sit in the traffic and just deal with 2-3 hours a day just driving home, but we're saving $80 in our pocket every day. And
Absolutely.
it sucks because $80 doesn't go anywhere. Like
Yeah.
you have to stay with someone to save some of that money, but even when you half it with someone, you only have like $30 for food or gas or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So calm it down.
So so the guys on the rigs right now here in Canada, I'm not sure what it's like in the US, but they're getting I think they just got a raise on their LOA to 215 a day.
Uh,
Which is
Canadian
pretty
dollars?
good. Yeah, Canadian dollars, yeah.
Okay.
So, and where I'm working right now, and it doesn't go very far, especially with inflation the way it's been, we're making $50 a day right now.
Oh,
And like that's nothing, right? But
yeah.
the hotel we're staying at currently, um, the bar, you get a coupon, you go to the bar, and anything on the menu you get for free. It's complimentary of the hotel. I'm sure the company's paying a little extra for the night for that.
Yeah.
But the steak is phenomenal. I got something called the chef's linguine the other day. It was bacon, chicken, and shrimp linguine,
Oh,
and
that's
it was fantastic. It was a big portion. I couldn't finish. I maybe ate half of it. It
yeah.
was, and there's still quite a bit left.
Yeah, and see, those are perks.
Yeah.
I've worked with companies before where they only give us. I was doing solar like years ago, and if we stayed out of town, um, it was your choice if you want to stay out of town. But if you do, they book the hotel for you, and then they give you $40 for food. So when it's provided, it's a lot easier to stay out of town because it's like, okay, well, I could actually stay here and save money, and still buy food with whatever. So it's got its perks. Like if you get free food out of it, I mean, I'm always down for free food and a free place to stay.
Yep.
Like,
Absolutely.
I don't like paying out of pocket because it sucks. Like some spots, it's the cheapest hotel you can find is like 120. So it's like, okay, so I'm paying an extra $40 just to stay out of town. You know, it's not worth it to me.
No, absolutely not. Hey, where can people find you on social media? I should have asked that a lot sooner. But like, where can people find you on social media in case they don't know who you are and they want to go looking for you? Because dude, this guy's content is hilarious.
It's Johnny JOHNNY underscore tsunami underscore 88. So it's the same name on Instagram, same name on TikTok, and those are the only names. Facebook, like I said, I don't use Facebook. It's under my real name, so I never use that
Yeah.
anymore. It's just TikTok and Instagram.
You don't got the YouTube?
No, that's just like, and that was the thing with starting TikTok too, is I looked at it as, okay, here's another platform, because I had Facebook, I had Instagram, I had Snapchat, and a few other apps. It's like it's just another thing to keep me on my phone. And like even with TikTok, like if I'm absolutely bored and I have nothing to do, and I have or if I'm like carpooling where I'm just sitting in the passenger seat, I'll go through it. But
Yep.
during the day, like I get called out a lot too. People think I don't work. It's like, no, I work. Like those videos I post are
I
first thing
get
in.
the same shit.
Yeah, it gets annoying because it's like, oh, you're always in the porta potty. You really do shit on company times. Like, no, I get to work an hour early, and
Yeah.
then I have my lunch breaks, and then there's a lot of standby time, and I don't know, like even in the refineries, like people think in the refineries, like you're doing a lot of hard work. There are times, where it's nonstop, but I think the most um I've ever had to work in a 12-hour period nonstop was maybe about 5 hours. But what people don't realize is in the refineries, especially, you have to wait.
Slow.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
to wait for permits. You got to wait on operators. You got to wait on engineers and all that shit. So I've had 12-hour shifts weeks in a row where I would show up to work. We'd get our job scope and where we got to be, what bolt up we got to do, whatever we're doing at the time. And it's like, okay, go to that spot, wait there for the permit. We'd be waiting 12 hours. It's like, okay, we'll just switch it over to day shift. And then we'd never be back in that area again. And then we just bounce around. And yeah, like I said, for weeks at a time, I didn't do a damn thing.
Yeah,
So,
man. I get a lot of comments like that too, man, where it's like, oh, maybe if you'd work more instead of that, if you'd work as much as you'd make videos. It's like, bro, this video literally took me 10 seconds.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like 20, like from the time I popped up my phone, I recorded, I did my thing with it. Maybe I did a tiny little bit of editing in there. It was like maybe 10 minutes, right?
yeah,
Maybe.
yeah,
And so, like, hey, you don't think these people don't think people have 10 minutes? You know what I mean? Like, dude, I
yeah,
work on a vac truck in the wintertime. We go on a cement job. I could be waiting like 12 hours for that fucking thing to start. We're there. They'd rather be looking at us than looking for us.
yeah,
Right?
exactly.
So it's like, hey, man, you show up, you rig in, you sit there, you wait for them to call you. All
Yeah,
right, cool. We sit there, we wait, we wait. And then, when it's time to get down to the nitty gritty, yeah, the phone goes away and I don't do shit. But
yeah,
in that meantime, if I got 12 hours to kill on site, I'm going to make a fuck ton of content.
yeah.
I'm going to make as much as I can and I'm going to have a fucking blast doing it. And dude, yeah, I'm getting paid to do it.
Oh yeah, and I think that's what pisses people off too. It's like, okay, well, if I have the down, I'll make content, send them, save them in my drafts, and it's like, okay, I'll maybe post 2 a day, and then the next day, if I do have a busy day, it's like, oh, cool, like first thing in the morning, I'll just post something I did yesterday, and then I don't have to worry about making anything else. But yeah,
Yep.
it pisses a lot of people off because construction workers, doesn't matter what trade you're in, like we do work hard when there is work, but there is also a lot of downtime and there's a lot of
Yep.
things. I was just on a tie-in last Monday, and it wound up being only, I think, an 18-hour shift or something like that. And I remember taking a picture of the hole, and you have all the inspectors and whatever workers there, and they're like, oh, like I remember one comment saying, "Oh, you're a whole lot of standby or supervisors there." It's like, okay, well, each person literally has a job. Like you got 4 fire watches, which can't move. You got your superintendent, you got your foremans, you got the laborers, you got welder welder helpers, you got SoCal Gas Company who have their own guys who are actually doing the work. Like everyone's got a job, but it does look bad times if you're not in that world. So when you're driving down the street and you see 30 guys looking down in the hole, it's like, what are you guys doing? You
Yeah.
know? So
Yeah.
we get the shit end of the stick a lot of the time because they don't understand that. Or like I said, in refineries, they don't understand the process of okay, permits, and you got to shut down certain things so you can work on that, and you got to blow down and do whatever you have to do to get the job done. But everything takes time. Like
Yep.
it
Yep.
takes a long time.
I just got a comment recently that said, because what did I say? I was like, fuck, what did my video? Oh, the video, I don't know if you've seen it, but it was like, boop, boop,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, it's like when I used all my sick days, so I'm calling in dead.
Yeah.
Right. And Buddy commented, he's like, dude, you run a piece of equipment on a road crew. No one's gonna miss you. Right. And you're not holding up anything. And it was like, okay, well, we're in a huge labor shortage right now, right? You find someone else that can run that equipment, right? That wants to run that equipment. B, that's not all I do on the crew, you know, like I labor when they need me to, and which is a lot because we're so short-handed. I'll spend my mornings or part of my afternoons laboring, and then I'll go jump in my equipment. And man, I'm versatile. I'm everywhere. I'm behind the equipment. I'm in front of the equipment. Then I'm in my equipment, right? Yeah. And I do it all, right? So like, dude, I'm humble enough to know that I'm replaceable, but cocky enough to know that it would take 3, right?
Yeah.
So go fuck yourself, right? So you know what I mean? Like, yeah, dude, I know, and that's one of those guys that are trolling, right? So yeah.
And it's usually the trolls too, like how we were talking earlier about looking at other people's like our followers and stuff like that. It's followers, and then the people who are trolling, you go to their page and they have no one following them. They have no posts. It's like, oh, you're literally just here to fucking troll, you know, like say, all right, well, I just won't waste my time on them, you know. But yeah, I get trolls from other trades, you know, like, oh, you like it kind of annoys me at times because like, dude, there's nothing prideful about killing yourself, you know, like destroying your body. So it, especially in the construction world, everything's so competitive. Like if I have, you know, 2 bangs, you know, 2 energy drinks, oh, two's all you drink, oh, fucking pussies. Like
soft hands, brother.
Nothing good about drinking one of them, you know.
No.
Like
no
you're saying like, oh, I work, you know, this many hours, I work a 12-hour day and I drink 4. It's like, you need 4 to work a 12-hour day. Like, you know, I can talk shit right
I
back.
raw dogged the shit out of that, man. I worked up to the longest I've ever worked is just over 40 hours. I don't smoke. I don't drink any energy drinks, and I don't do any drugs. So I raw dogged the shit out of that, right? And that's hard. Try doing that without anything.
Yeah, see, I can't, like, obviously I don't have drugs anymore, but I need nicotine, and I gotta have at least 1 energy drink. Like, and I drink it first thing in the morning, and if I kind of crash, and it's like, okay, I can still power through it, but yeah, it's more mental. But I have yet to kick the bucket on, you know, I'm trying to switch from energy drinks to just coffee and take it easy on my heart a little bit. So it's hard to do.
Man, what's the worst comments you get? And I'll tell you what the worst comment I get is after you go. But like when you make videos about how many hours you work and how much overtime you put in, what's the worst comments you get?
The worst? Well, it's hard to tell because some people, I've learned this, like someone called me out saying like, oh, they're just trolling you. Like there's a sound clip of the dude saying, oh, you got soft hands. I work, you know, I work this many hours unpaid and this and that. But I didn't know that was from a sound clip at first. And there was people going off on me like, oh, you're only working 8 to 10 hours a day. Like you're fucking pussy. Like you know, I worked this many so far this week. I've worked 80 hours unpaid. It's like, unpaid? What the fuck does that mean? So you're working for free? Like I didn't understand it. I was kind of like naive to it. But I, at the top of my head, I can't think of any, but it's mainly just talking shit on my position. Because I'm just a labor.
Who cares, man? Laborers fucking give it their all, and
Oh yeah,
man, without a fucking labor, the crew. You try to find an operator. I do it, but you try to
yeah,
find an operator or someone else on that crew that isn't a laborer to do what you do, right? You know what
oh
I mean? Like, yeah, exactly. Go,
yeah,
those people can go fuck themselves too.
yeah. In our field, like in pipeline, um,
Everyone
we're the
labors.
ones who dig the holes and do the labor. Like we do the backbreaking shit, and when it comes to tie-in, it's like, okay, you're really up there for a few hours. Like really not. Like I talk shit on a lot of welders.
Yeah,
Um,
same, but it's just fun, right? Because
yeah,
welders
it,
are fun to bug.
oh yeah, it's fun to fuck with them because it's like I've worked with some that treat themselves like laborers, like will do the work too,
Yep,
and like okay, roll everything out for me, like whatever it may be. But um, yeah, like we do all the hard shit, and then we have the best in the union. We have one of the best pensions and retirement plans because our fucking bodies are destroyed, you
yeah,
know. But yeah, it's just all the comments is it's mainly just about hours. I have a lot of linemen that talk shit on, oh, you only work this much, this and that. I just got off storm duty and we worked 80 hours in fucking 3 days. It's like, all right, that's cool. Like, I mean, props to you for staying up and for doing that work because you're needed, and props for making money. Like, good for you.
yep,
But
yep,
I'm I like going home. I don't have a family, but I like going home. I like being in my own bed. I like having free time. Like I make enough to support myself, and that's all that really matters to me. It's like, dude, if I pay my bills and have money for free shit or to do stuff during my free time and being able to travel and buy whatever the fuck I want, I'm happy. You know?
yep, absolutely. And that's all that matters. If the
Yeah.
lifestyle works for you, who nothing else matters, right?
Yeah.
But the comment, okay, so the comments I get are kind of similar, but the one that really kind of pisses me off a little bit that I go out of my way to constantly just try to justify and explain.
Mhm.
Whenever I say, oh, like, oh, I'm working this many hours or yada yada yada, it's oh, the slave is you're a slave to the or the slave has fallen in love with the system that has oppressed him,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, are you kidding me, man? Yeah, okay, my boss is much more well off than I am. He started this company.
Yeah.
Fuck the owner of this company. He started it. He started it. He's earned that right to be well off, right? He owns his yacht. He fucking grinded for this shit at one point. You know what I mean? The company didn't just start and boom, there's millions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh yeah, but you don't make as much as he does. You're right. I also probably don't stress as much as he does
Yeah.
about his company. I probably don't deal with the amount of paperwork and all the bullshit behind the scenes that he has to deal with. But let's talk about this. I do make over $100,000 a year. I do get half the year off,
Yeah.
right? Overall, you know what I mean? My kids are well taken care of. They have all the toys they can play with, all the food they can eat, and they have shelter,
Yeah.
right? Have I fallen in love with the system that oppresses me? Sure. That system that oppresses me has given me a fantastic fucking life.
Hmm.
You know, and my wife gets to be a stay-at-home mom. In this economy, this day and age, with inflation and the way the world works, you need two incomes.
Yeah.
We're making it work on one with two kids, and we're trying for a third. My
Yeah.
wife gets to be a stay-at-home mom. We don't want for nothing, and we live. We're not rich, but we're doing good, and we're not struggling either. So
Yeah. You're living. So it's like, no,
yeah,
I totally get that. And I'm not like I can see what they mean when they say that, but
yeah,
also
I can see it too.
yeah, but it's also like I love what I do. I can't see myself like Choco's main thing is fuck your cubicle type thing. Like
Yeah,
I can't sit down and how bringing back to your CEO or founder of the company. just because they're not doing the back-breaking work doesn't mean they're not stressed and not taking care of paperwork and phone calls nonstop and shit like that. Like, just my superintendent, or fuck, just my foreman. My foreman gets calls nonstop. It's like, dude, I would fucking hate that.
Yep.
I
Yep.
hate on my phone. I hate being called. I hate calling people. So it's like, I'd rather deal with the physical work instead of the mental. I'd rather
Yep.
be physically tired to where when I relax, I'm fine. Mentally tired, I can't do that.
We talked about this way back on episode 6 with Gord from the Second Acts podcast. He works in an office now, but he was a roughneck on a rig, scrubbing the rig, looking down in the consultant's office, seeing him with his hands up behind his head and his feet up on the desk, and watching the hockey game. He's like, "Fuck, I want to be that guy," right? And years and years and years had gone by, and he became that guy, and then he became the next step up from that guy. And his takeaway from that was, after all those years, he's like, the guy who had life by the balls was the guy scrubbing the rig, the roughneck, right? Because he got to leave that rig. His phone got to go off. He didn't have to worry about a damn thing after he left. Those guys, they're at dinner with their families. Their phones are going off.
Yeah.
Right? And nonstop. And the other day, I was with my superintendent. We were in Walmart getting food. Hey, how's it going? Is this the wifey?
No. That's my roommate.
What up, roomie? How's it going?
Hello.
Did she make TikToks too?
No.
She is one of the ones that kind of helped me get on it.
Good for you, man. Good for you. So I can't hear her. What's she saying?
She's still waiting for her 10% because she said once I start making money, I gotta pay her.
Oh shit! So my superintendent and I, we were at Walmart the other day, right? He left his phone in the truck. We were in there for 10 minutes. We come out. He missed 14 phone calls, like 40 emails, and like 20 texts.
Yeah,
right. And it's like, dude, he's like, dude, my phone, his phone stays plugged in the truck all day because if it doesn't stay plugged in, it dies.
Yeah, it's like when we have these longer hours, and my superintendent's there, burn bastard. When he's there, I'll go up and talk to him for maybe like 2-3 minutes, and then he rolls back his window because his phone's ringing. Like, it's nonstop. And I've been close friends with him for a while. Outside of work, he's got me the job, but outside of work, his phone was always going off. Like, I can't do that shit. And bringing back to what you're saying about, did you say Gore?
Yeah, Gord from the Second Acts podcast. Yeah.
It's not a big tattoo bald guy, is it?
No. He lives in Canada here. He lives actually not far from me, like 20 minutes maybe.
Oh, okay.
You know who else is not far from me? Dirty Hands, like Troll Clothing. They're from Alberta.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're from around here. The weird thing is they're from Alberta, but they charge in US dollars.
Yeah.
I get it. The population wise and their base, most of their customer base is probably there. I understand. But there's also another clothing company that goes back to what you were kind of saying about, I couldn't live life in a cubicle, and order a priority. And then it says order a priority, anti-cubicle crew. What's your priority?
Yeah.
Right. And they got really good shirts. Is she leaving? Tell her I say bye.
Oh no, she's fucking making fun of me.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
Yeah, it's I kind of tripped out on that because I didn't know they're Canadian based for a long time, and they're big. Like, everywhere I go, someone's wearing it,
Yep. Same here, man. Same. They're huge. You can buy their stuff online, but like I said, they charge you Canadian dollars. There's only 2 places in Alberta where you can get it at like Canadian dollar prices, and one of them's like in Red Deer, Alberta, and I think the other one's down near Lethbridge or something like that. They got a little shop you can go in and pick out some stuff. So yeah, It's pretty neat, man. Like, you know, a lot of people don't really know that, right?
Yeah, I like that's what I kind of wish, because I hate ordering shit online. So I like walking in and shopping and like seeing what I'm buying and trying on and doing
Yeah.
whatever. Like bringing back to I cut out the sleeves. It's like normally I like trying on shirts, to see if they fit well. And I ordered extra large. It fit fine around the body, but around the arms it was tight. So I'm like, oh cool. I just wasted, $40, and yeah, I don't know. It'd be good. Yeah, I think it would be smart for them to do something down here and have stores that sell their products down here.
Yeah.
I think they'd make a killing.
Well, a California-based company that you guys actually have there is Heat Waves.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm a Heat Wave affiliate. I get 10%. I get a 10% off code. It's anyone that wants a Heat Wave, those blue glasses that I wear. When you're on heatwave.com and you want to order the hat, the glasses, the shorts, whatever, Frost 8910, save yourself 10%. And yeah. Oh shit. Yeah, man. No, I love Heat Waves, man. I have like 6 or 7 pairs now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I used to wear them a lot, but it got to the point of me buying them, and then I think the last pair I had for 2 days, and then I lost them. So I was just tired of spending money fucking them up on the job site,
Yeah, I hear that. My blue ones are pretty scratched to shit.
Yeah.
And I got a new pair of blue ones that aren't scratched to shit yet, and so I'm just counting down the days to when my heart sinks, because I know they're gonna fall off in some mud or some shit. But the sides of them, the little logo on the side, they start changing them. They're gold now.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that. That's slick.
I customized one, and I liked mine all black, and I had the gold emblem on it.
Yeah, I love that. Hey, while you're eating that, now's a good time to get into the podcast. Is sponsored. Okay, so we got sponsored by the Mudman. www. I think maybe that was too many W's, but www.mudmanmarket.com. For all your drilling fluids and laboratory equipment needs, get on that. And basically, do you know what viscosity is there, Johnny?
Viscosity?
Do you know what viscosity is? Yeah.
No.
No? It's the thickness of your load.
Okay.
So the thickness of your load would be the viscosity of it.
Okay.
And that's what the Mudman sort of, they're testing for the viscosity, not of your load personally, not of my load, but like on the rig, you know what I mean? When they're testing the mud and stuff like that.
Got it.
Yeah. We got into a whole wild ass tangent about the viscosity and the load. Yeah, a couple episodes ago. It was like a 15-minute thing. It was wild.
Oh yeah. Sure. What's it called? What time is it over there?
Right now it's 9:45.
Okay.
We'll wrap it up. We'll wrap it up here. I just got one more question for you, and then we'll wind her down, just so you can get on whatever you're doing. So you being American, you know what Mount Rushmore is, right? Obviously. Yeah. Mount Rushmore has like 4 of the most influential people in American history on it. And so if you had to have your Mount Rushmore of the 4 people that have inspired you or that you look up to the most, who would be on your Mount Rushmore and why?
Jesus.
Hey.
Jesus. Shoot. Yeah, my dad would be on one of them. Well, it's 4, right?
So yeah, 4.
Jesus, my dad. Probably my grandpa. On both sides, actually.
Nice.
Each one has taught me a lot. Like my grandpa on my dad's side has taught me a lot about money and saving and investing and just being from their time of age or their era or whatever, like they both have been married for years and years and years and have only been with that person. And, you know, I look up to that, and yeah, it'd just be my family, the men in my family. So both grandpas, my dad, and yeah, God, Jesus.
I like the reasoning for why Jesus is up there and God. You know, like that noose, right? That it all comes back down to that noose, and that's huge, man. That's powerful shit. I don't necessarily have. I don't not believe, but I also don't believe, right? Like I'm in the middle, right? Like, is there a higher power? Absolutely, there is. I'm not sure what that is though, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
I could, you know, I have a lot of friends that don't believe, but do believe that there is a higher power, not necessarily God. That's how we talked earlier. Is that's my choice. You know, I have my relationship, and that's my thing, because I've gone through the, you know, I've been agnostic, I've been atheist, I've been a Satanist before. Like, I've gone through a lot of different changes, and that's one thing that has just stuck with me. And yeah, you know, it's a difficult conversation for a lot of people, but you know, whether you find them or not, or find whatever you're looking for, that's completely on you. That's our freedom of religion, you know.
Yep, absolutely, man. Hey, just want to let you know I'm stealing one of your videos, by the way, the lipstick one where you're just like, yeah, trying to ask my boss for if I can leave early. I'm changing it up. I'm actually gonna use lipstick, but it's gonna be like when preparing myself to ask for a raise.
Oh yeah,
right, and putting the lipstick on. I saw that. That was hilarious. I love that. But also the Get Ready With Me Pride Edition.
Oh yeah, you like that?
That
one?
video was hilarious. I showed my wife. She busted guts. So
hell yeah,
yeah, that was funny, man. Well, man, this has been a lot of fun, man.
hell yeah, I appreciate
And yeah,
having me on here, and I'll definitely be down and do it again. Hopefully on maybe on one of my shifts where I'm not doing shit.
yeah, yeah, man, that'd be cool. Do it right from site, live from site. I appreciate you coming on, man. You know, I talk about it all the time. You know, like when I'm recording, I get a little nervous about doing it. I don't do my homework, so I like to be, you know, I just like to go with the flow. And then podcast release day, I also get I'm amped the whole day. Right, we got one dropping tomorrow. I'm amped the whole day. I'm like, podcast release day. It's like 8 hours till podcast drops. 5 hours. 4 hours. I'm counting down all day long, right? And like, man, it's my baby, right? So like, I'm having a lot of fun with this.
Hell yeah! Well, I like what you're doing, and I'm glad you had me on here.
Hell yeah, man! I'm glad you're coming on. You know, you're part of my niche. You know, you're both blue collar. You've worked in the oil patch, well, refineries, pipelines. Pipeliners. I don't know if you can really consider pipeliners oil patch, but
yeah,
no, it's just a joke. Yeah, no, we're part of the same niche, and you know, you're someone I enjoy watching. You know, so I figured let's have a conversation with the guy. Let's break down those walls and peel back those layers. So
oh yeah, we'll get on another time and go deeper into, you know, work and shit like that. Life.
I like going deep.
Hell yeah, me too. Who doesn't?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, that's one thing I don't understand. Go harder, I get. Go faster, I understand. But go deeper, babe. You don't think I'm going as deep as I can already? Like, come on.
I'm already balls deep. It's only like 3.
I'm already balls deep. Yeah. What the fuck? All right, buddy. Hey, you stay frosty, all right?
Hell yeah, brother. Good talking. I'll talk to you soon, all right?
Hell yeah, buddy. Have a good one.
All right.